Oh my gosh, massive sneezing fit just before I pressed record. Great start. Anyway, I'm reviewing Poison. Hi guys, how's everyone doing? Good, I hope. Oh my gosh, can you believe I'm actually reviewing Poison? It's happening. This is my most requested review ever, yet I have never done it up until now because A, I've never owned it, B, I've never had a sample, C, I've never really worn it, but D, I am very familiar with it. I mean, who isn't? So, thankfully, because Notino.co.uk and .com sent me it to review, thank you very much guys, I really appreciate it. I can actually review it for you guys. I know a lot of you have wanted me to do it, so yeah, the pressure's on. Here we go. So this is an Oriental floral fragrance. It came out in 1985. I was 5 years old. The perfumer behind it, or the nose, is Edouard Flechier. And yeah, I mean, it goes without saying, this is kind of definitive of the 80s. I think it pretty much dominated a lot of people's fragrance wardrobes, and it still does now. I do think that it's kind of a love-hate fragrance, kind of like Angel. There are real die-hard fans of this out there, and then there are also people that can't stand it. I just think you have to get to know it to appreciate it rather than push it aside. So yeah, they sent me a bottle to review. I'm so happy that I get to actually wear it, try it out. I've been wearing it a lot recently in the lead up to this review. Goodbye box, down there, don't answer me back. And I'm just kind of really excited about this review. I do feel a bit of pressure though, because it's Poison, it's legendary, it's iconic, it's just, yeah, a lot of stuff going on. So, let's go through the notes with you. And I firstly need to say about the notes, I've seen so many conflicting things about what's actually in this fragrance all over the place. I've seen some where I think important notes are missed out, and then ones I've never heard of being in it, and it's just all over the place. Hi. I took my notes from a really good blogger called The Perfume Shrine because she knows her stuff. So these are the notes that she says on her site. So these are the top notes: orange blossom, honey, berries and pimento. The heart notes are cinnamon, ylang ylang, coriander, tuberose, pepper, mace, plum and star anise. And then the base is ambergris, labdanum and apopanax. So if you don't know what Poison smells like, where have you been? You're crazy, you must know what Poison is. I mean, it's probably one of Dior's most iconic fragrances ever. Or just in the world ever, I think. I mean, it's just, yeah. So it's drying on this hand. I mean, I have worn this for about a week, maybe even 2 since I got it. So what do I think it smells like? Let's go. There is no doubt that this is a very, very deep fragrance. It's purple at the bottle, you can hardly even see through it. I like to hold it up to candlelight so I can see the beauty of the colour of the bottle like this. And I said the same thing about Tom Ford's Black Orchid. It is a wall of fragrance. When you smell it, it is so thick and heady that it's really hard to kind of get away from it. This is a confidence exuding fragrance. If I've ever smelled this on people, which I do, I immediately think that that person's got some confidence because it is very, very bold. The main things in here that I smell are plum, tuberose, a little bit of incense and some resins, kind of sweet resins. So plum is always a very tricky one to describe in a fragrance, it really is. I've said it many times before, but I'll say it again, and I have to say it more importantly for this review in particular, that plum is hard to describe. It doesn't smell of plum, but what it does is it gives a very deep, dark, fruity feeling to a fragrance. If I had to pin it on anything, I would say it probably smells a little bit more like grapes than plums. So you have a very, it's almost like, not grape Kool-Aid, but you know you get like grape flavoured things. It smells a little bit like that with a massive swirl of Heady Tuberose. The combination of both creates such a massive circumference of fragrance when it's first sprayed. I will talk about the reformulation and everything, but I don't want to touch too much on it because I'm reviewing the now readily available formula. But when you first put it on, it can be quite surprising. It's Poison. It's called Poison. It's not called fluff, it's not called fairy wings, it's called poison. Okay? So the combination of really deep dark fruits and really heady tuberose. I mean, I consider tuberose, jasmine, the queens of the white flowers. White flowers are the strongest, and there's quite a big dose of tuberose in this, so it's both of those things at first. What you also get is this labdanum and a popinax. Now labdanum creates a kind of ambery feel. This fragrance is definitely smooth overall. It's extremely smoothed out, extremely well blended, and then you've got popinax, which is sweetened myrrh. So you've got a sweet resinous undertone, and you have labdanum, which is creating, it's quite sweet as well, a kind of ambery type feel. But it's a different type of amber to your regular run-of-the-mill amber, because that's kind of powdery resinous. Labdanum is a lot darker, I think. It's a very, very cool note, in fact. So it's all of that at once, straight away, in your face, whack. Sometimes I get a tiny, tiny hint of smokiness, and sometimes I get a tiny hint of incense, but it really is centered around these dark, fruity notes and a white floral just clashed over the top that are, you can't just get away from them. That is the entire backbone of this fragrance, so it's pretty cool. I feel like it's tuberose with a witch hat on. It feels like a very gothic fragrance. It's very dark, it's very bold. I would put this as an autumn-winter fragrance. It's a white floral going to a Halloween party. So when it starts to dry, what I find with it is that it's not super interchangeable. It doesn't morph a huge amount, but what does happen is some of the depth goes away. Not all of it, because it remains a very deep dark fragrance throughout. But what happens is some of the depth and some of that real weighty kind of dark fruitiness does go back a little bit, and the floral comes out a little bit more. So I don't want to say it crisps up, but it does. It's like the fog clears a little bit, if that makes any sense, because it is like a cloud when you wear it, but when it's dry, it does become slightly more, yeah, the word's not going to come out today, I can't figure out what I'm trying to say. It's like the fog has lifted a little bit, if that makes sense. There, I'll stick with that for now. Now I just quickly want to say about the formulation. Obviously, a lot of people know that the vintage formulation of Poison was an absolute monster. I mean, it's probably up there in the top 5 strongest perfumes ever created in the world. The new formula, of course, as with 99.9% of reformulations, it's never going to be the same. We just have to accept it. It's tough titties, I'm afraid. Having said that, if Poison used to scare you and the way it was strong, if you liked the smell but were so scared of the strength, I think the new formula, while it's obviously not as massive as the original, there's still a punch to it. I get at least about 7 hours out of this, sometimes 8. It does behave differently on different days. Sometimes when I spray it on my wrist, it disappears completely. Sometimes I spray it and I can smell it for a good 5 hours quite strongly. Just a little tip, I spray this on my clothes as well as my skin when I wear it, just to give it that extra push out. But yeah, it doesn't feel like watered down or anything. I just think that the power is not as much as the vintage, and that's true of any reformulation. So I have to be honest there, and I have to mention that to you guys. So just take note of that. Try it on your skin. What is sometimes strange as well is when it's very, very dry at the very end, it goes a bit sweeter, in fact. Sometimes I think, is there vanilla in here? I'm not sure, but it's almost like there could be the tiniest drop of vanilla in this poisonous potion. So anyway, I have to say thank you once again to Notino.co.uk and .com. They sent me this to review, so thank you. Hi Ivana, I need to wave to you. I'll speak to you soon, and I'll post links below to where you can get this at their website. So I hope you guys like this review. It's been a long time coming, believe me. But yeah, I've finally done it. I think I've reviewed most of the Poisons now. Yeah. Anyway, I'm Look down there to subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon for another review. Goodbye.